Hello, my name's Sean Kehoe and I'm the Chairman of the Erewash branch for UKIP, and I'm wanting to look at the UKIP manifesto and to do a series of talks, item by item, looking at the manifesto and explaining what it's about and why we need to vote UKIP. And I want to start with fishing waters or fishing grounds, our territorial waters around the UK. Now, what's happened with this? Let me explain. We used to have an absolutely gigantic fishing fleet and a gigantic merchant navy and an even more gigantic Royal Navy. That's why it used to be said that Britannia rules the waves. It was true. We had a massive fishing industry and a massive navy. But Ted Heath gave it away, the then Prime Minister gave it away in 1972 in the negotiations that were leading up to our accession into the EU on the 1st of January 1973. And he did so, he gave away the jewel in the crown of our economy, really, in that sense, just in order to be able to be permitted to join the EU. That's what they demanded of him. Now, because of that, Spanish and Belgian and loads of other fishermen fish in our waters rather than in their own. And there's a very simple reason why they do. It's because their own waters are either non-existent or fished out, depleted, completely destroyed by the overfishing. The Spanish in particular. I remember speaking to a cousin of mine many years ago. He's a fisherman. And I said to him, he was complaining about this, and I said, well, why don't you go and fish in Spanish waters if they're taking all our fish? And he just laughed out loud and said, well, they don't have any fish. They've completely fished out their waters. That's why they come here. And so now they are taking the vast majority of the fish that are taken from the North Sea are taken by others, not by our fishermen. And think how big this is. We're talking about not just the 11 miles across the Channel to France and 20 odd miles across the Irish Sea, which belong to us, but way out into the Atlantic, 200 miles out along most of our coastline, that belongs to us. So this is why I say it's so enormous as a potential industry. And let me ask this question then. Why does it matter even if we live inland? So in my constituency, Erewash, we're 80 odd miles away from the nearest sea. Why would the fishing industry matter to us? And why should we vote UKIP in relation to this issue? Well, there's a number of reasons. Let me just briefly run through them about what will happen if we get our fishing waters back. Now, firstly, of course, there's going to be a direct impact on jobs in the coastal areas, all around, not just in one or two places like Grimsby or Hull, but in all sorts of fishing ports around the coastal areas around Britain. And that's going to bring a direct impact in jobs there. But also, even more importantly, there's an indirect impact on jobs in fish processing, lorries bringing the fish all over the UK and all over Europe and elsewhere, packaging, cooking the fish, putting it into ready meals and all the rest of it. It's endless, the kind of things that will happen if the Europeans have to buy their fish from us instead of taking the fish for themselves from our seas and processing it for themselves. So there's that, there's jobs will come, and they will not simply come in the coastal areas, they'll come everywhere. But let me look at this as well. The word or phrase is aggregate demand. If jobs come to those places and other places, those people are going to have more money to spend. Those people are going to be able to buy things. And the combined effect of all that increased purchasing power is what we call aggregate demand. And that's going to rise inevitably. And that is going to affect everywhere. So if people have got more money to spend in the coastal areas, they might want to buy a settee from a manufacturer in Long Eaton, where I live. Or they might want to buy something else in a constituency where you live. And that's going to affect you. But secondly, there's going to be an impact which is in the areas of tax and benefits, because all these people, the people making a profit, the businesses making a profit, are going to pay increased corporation tax or income tax if they're business owners, but also the employees that they have are going to be paying income tax. But also, where there is heavy unemployment in these areas, they're not going to be claiming benefits or not at the same levels. because unemployment levels and poverty levels are going to come down and people are not going to be claiming benefits. Now, the combined effect of those two things, in conjunction with the much increased aggregate demand, is going to have a tremendous impact on the economy and upon the revenues available to the Exchequer, which can then be used to purchase all manner of things: policing, schools, education, road building, you name it. In our economy, the profits will be coming to us, the tax will be coming to us, and we'll be spending it here, not in Spain, not in Belgium. So, I hope I haven't been too quick, but I want to give you the gist of it, why this matters so much. Anyway, please look forward to further talks on the other items in the manifesto. Thank you.